Hello everyone, welcome back to 100 Days of Coding with Derrick-Redeemer. This is day 34 of our 100 Days of Coding journey. And today's topic is part 1. Today's lesson is part 1. That's colors in CSS. So part 1, colors in CSS part 1. Okay, so this one is split into two parts. We have the part 1 and the part 2. So in our previous lesson, we learned about CSS selectors and discovered how to target specific HTML elements using universal element, class, ID, and group or selectors. Today, we are going to make our website much more attractive by learning about colors in CSS. Colors are one of the first things visitors notice when they open a website. Choosing the right colors can make your website look modern, professional, and easy to use. In this lesson, we'll learn the named colors, HEX colors, then we'll apply them directly to our websites that we built. So let's look at the outcomes, the learning outcomes here. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to apply colors using color names, apply colors using what HEX values, style different sections of your website, choose a simple color scheme for your project. Now let's before we start, open your project in VS Code. So as you already know, so that's the Visual Studio Code. So you open your project as you can see on my screen here. Okay, so here you are going to open your index.html. So the index.html here, then the CSS. So we have what the CSS here. So this the CSS style.css here. So when you run it, it should work perfectly. So let's run it. So now you can see this is what we did the last time. So currently the colors are very basic. Today we will begin transforming our website into a more professional looking website. So here we'll see what a CSS color property is first. When we talk about CSS color property, or the color property changes the color of a text. That's what the color property. It changes the color of a text. So general syntax, as you already know. So the general syntax, as you already know. So that's what. So here I'm coming here. Then we have a selector. So selector, then selector, then let's we have a color and then property. So color is a property. So color, then colon, then value, then you introduce your semicolon. So this one, for example, as we already did, and you know already, this one can be H1, any HTML tag. It can be H1P, that's paragraph. H2 can be anything at all. Then the color here can be that's property. So that's the property, and then value can be anything. So a letter or a color. Yes. So since we are dealing with color, let's use color. So the value here will be what color. So what's the name of the color? So the color should be what? Let's say blue. So blue. Do you get it? So then this place will be what? H1. Let's say so blue, then here will be what? H1. So the selector is now what? H1. Do you get it? All right. This changes what? Every heading 1 heading to what? Blue. So every heading 1 that you see on your website will change to what? Blue. Now let's take the method 1 that's named characters. Named colors. So named colors. So this one here, the name of colors. So now CSS provides many built-in color names. Some examples include you can have black, white, red. This is just some blue, green, yellow, orange, purple, gray, brown, pink. These colors are easy to remember and are great for beginners. So you can use this one if you're building a website. Do you get it? All right. Now let's try to style something. So starting the welcome page. So open your style.css. Then locate the style.css, then locate what the selector H1 selector, that's replaced with what. So we are going to replace this our selector here. So H1, let's say H1. So let me clear this one from here. No, you let me leave it since we'll use it again. So H1, let's say the color is what? Let's say navy. So the color is what? Navy. Let's say navy. So navy. Then the align center should be still the same. So if you open your live server, you should see what? A navy there. Now you will not see what? A navy. Why? Because we've selected this one here. So let's change our heading 1 here. Yes, sorry, that's the navy. So you will see it. You see the effects. All right. So you will see that when I introduced the blue here was what? To pure blue. All right. Now let's style the paragraphs. So now style all paragraphs. Add. So this one we are going to start with all the paragraphs. Where's the paragraph here? So in the CSS file, we are still in the CSS file. That's okay. So paragraph. So we can introduce what? Let's say the color. You want to let's say which the paragraph is going to. I will use the color. So let's say dim gray. Okay, let's use dim gray. So dim gray. So the color. Let's say dim gray. So dim gray. So save the file and refresh. Your paragraphs now have a softer color, making them easier to read. So let's open and see. So what's the paragraph? This one is the paragraph. So this is what we have. What a paragraph here. Let's go to the about. So here, can you see here? All right. So if I open, as you see what the same thing there. Okay. Now let's go to styling the navigation. How can you style the navigation? Now our navigation menu doesn't have a class yet. Let's add one. So open index.html. So you are going to open what the index.html here. When you open the index.html, what are we going to do? We are going to locate what we are going to locate the nav. So this is what the nav, this particular one here, right here. So inside it, we are going to give it a class name. So the class called nav bar. So let's say nav bar. Okay. So let's say a nav bar. So the nav bar. Right. So when you give it a class, you are going to do the same thing for the contacts. So you are going to do the same thing for the contact as well. So the nav bar, where's the nav? The navigation bar. So here, this particular one here. So class is equal to what? The nav bar. Then we go to the what? About as well. The about, you are going to give it. So where's the nav? Navigation is this part here. So class is equal to what? Nav bar. Right here. So now open the style.css. You are going to add what? A background. So the background, let's say the background should be black, and then the padding too should be what? 15 pixels. Right here. So let's go to the style.css. So where's the navigation? So navigation. So the dot nav. So dot nav. Then the nav. So dot nav bar. So let's include the background. So let's say the background is black. Let's say the background color is black. Let's name it that way. So black. Then let's say the padding. I said the padding should be what? 15 pixels. So 15 what? Pixels. You get it? All right. So if you open your web browser, you should see something like that. Can you see? So don't worry if it is not looking nice. Don't worry at all. If it is not looking nice, don't worry. We'll do everything. We'll start everything. Okay. Now, so you are going to start the navigation links. The links are still what? Using the browser's what? Default style or default what colors. So when you look at this one here, the default color, that's what? The blue and those things are here. So here, we are going to style it. So let's change that. So add the navigation bar. So here. So this particular one here, you're going to add what? A. So then when you add A, so let's open to see. Now you can see the A here. So if you introduce the A, that's it. So here, I'm going to change the color to what? So let's say I want to change the color to let's say color to white. So color to white. Then which one again? The decoration. Let's say decoration to none. The margin right. So margin right. So here, let's say the margin right should be equal to what? The margin right should be 20 pixels. Let's say that way. So margin right is equal is what? 20 what pixels. So 20 what pixels. You get it? So if you open your web browser, you see what? Something like that. So where's it? Size. It is not, sorry. I think we did some mistake here. So I'm coming. Okay, so because we've changed the color, so the color to white. So here. So let's say the nav bar. So here, the nav bar should be equal to black. So black for you to see it clearly. Yes. So because we've changed this one to white, so it will not show. Yes, I've seen it now. So then we are going to what? The padding. So the padding, let's say the padding should be equal to 15 pixels. So let's maintain it that way. Then here, let's say that's what? 20 pixels. Here. Or yes, let's say 20 pixels. So 20 pixels. So if you open, you should see something like that. Sorry. So we can change what? Let's try to change the navigation to white. The link to what? The navigation link to, let's say black. Let's say black. Let's change the navigation link to what? Black. So let's open it again. All right. Now you can see it clearly. So we have the home, we have the about, we have the contact. When you check the padding too, I added what? 20 pixels. I think 20 pixels. Yeah. So the padding, that's yes, 20 pixels. You get this. All right. Now let's take this real life example here. Think about websites like YouTube. The navigation bar has a dark background with light out text. The colors help users clearly see the navigation. What I mean, when you look at this part here, you can see it clearly. You can see the navigation clearly. So if you click on the home, it will direct you to home. If you click on the about, it will direct you to about page. If you click on contact, it will direct you to what? The contact page. Good color choices improve readability and what? User experience, the UX. All right. Now let's go to the method 2. The method 2, that's the hex color. That's the hex color. So although named colors are easy to use, professional web developers often use hex colors. Hex colors begin with a hash followed by 6 characters. Hash followed by 6 characters. You get it? So, for example, we can have something the CSS file. So the CSS file. So that's color. Color. Then the colon. Then we have the hash. So hash. Then something like A. So A is 0 A. Then 66. Then C2. C2. This is what the color. All right. This is what we call hexa color. Or hex color. Hex color. Each hex code represents a specific color. Each of them represents a specific color. Some examples include we have hash, then the 5F 1 2 3 4 5. This one is what? This one is white. The 5F is what? White. Then we have zeros. So how many zeros? 5 zeros. This one represents what? Black. You get it? Then we also have this one, then F, then 40. Sorry, yes, 40. So this one is 6 zeros, and this one is what? F. You get it? All right. Then so this one represents red, the F2, and then the 04 represents what? Red. Then you also have some like this. You also have some like this. That's 00 F00. So this one represents what? This one represents green. You can also have 00F. So this one here, this one represents what? Blue. The one that I just typed represents what? Blue. You get it? Then the first one that I type, I said the first one is what? That's what? Blue. Also blue. So this one is also blue, and this one is also what? Blue as well. All right. Then we can also have this one. We can also have this one. That's F5. So F5 and F7, F8, F7, F8, F8. This one represents what? Light gray. Okay. We can also have one like this, hash. Then what? 6-3. 6-3. This one represents what? Dark gray. Okay. So hex colors provide much more precision than what named colors. You already know the named colors. The named colors are the black, blue, green, navy blue, dim gray, and those ones. Okay. All right. Now we are going to replace the named colors with what? Hex colors. So we are going to replace what? The named colors with what? Hex colors. All right. So here we are going to what? The H1, the H1. That's heading 1. So the navy. So the navy. We are going to replace the navy by what? OA. Then sorry, 0A 6C2. That's what the blue. So 0A 6C2. All right. So that represents what? The blue. So if you open your web browser, you should see something like that. So something like this one here. Okay. Now we are going to change the paragraph as well. So the dim gray. Where's the paragraph? I think I replaced that one by what? Dim gray. So dim gray. Is it dim gray? Yes. Yes. This one. Dim gray. So the dim gray. What is the hex color? So the hex color. That's what? Hash. Then what? 6 4s. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right. That's what the paragraph. Then we can also do that. So if you are done, you change it. So if you are done, you change your. So here none. Sorry, if you are done, you save your file. So none. Here is what? None. So save none. So you see what? Something like that. So that's how to use what? The hex what color. Now let's style the footer. Let's give the footer a better look. First, add a class. So open every what? HTML page. So you are going to open what? Every HTML page. So every HTML page. So the footer. This is what? The footer here. So here let's add what? Let's change it to what? Class. Let's give it a class name. So class is equal to what? Footer. So class is equal to what? Footer. Let's go to what? The contact as well. So let's look for footer. So let's look for footer. So here. So class is equal to what? Footer. Then we go to what? The about as well. The about we are looking for what? Footer. So footer. Let's say the class also what? A footer. All right. So here we are going to what? Our CSS file. Let's go to our CSS file. To do something. We are going to what? The dot. That's what a class. So footer. So the footer here. Let's add the what? The hex color. So the hex color. I don't want this color. So I'm going to use what? This one here. 2. So how many is that? So that's 7. So this what? The black here. Then that's what? The background color. Then we have what the color is of the text color. So the text color, let's say white. Then the padding. So here I don't need a text. So let me so the padding is, let's say the text is what? Text align. We want it to be what? Center. And the padding to is what? 20 pixels. So we can clear this one from here. So let's try to clear this one from here. So this one we'll do that one later. So if you open your browser, you see what? Something like that. Hope you can see here. Can you see? All right. So this is what the one that I'm talking about. So when you go to different page too, you see the same thing. Go to different page, you see the same thing. When you go to contact, you still see the same thing. Do you get it? All right. So keep this in mind. Keep this thing in mind. So here, choose only two to 4 main colors for your website. For example, primary color that can be what. So let's say this what. My primary color. Let's say my primary color is what. This the blue. So that's what 0A. Then this. That's what my primary color. Let me clear this one from here. I don't need this. Then the secondary color, that's what 2. So 2. Is up to 6? Yes, it's up to 6. Then let's say background color. The background color, let's say F5, then F7, then F what? Let's say F8. Yes, not let's say that's the color. Then the text color. This. All right. Now, using too many colors can make a website look what? Messy. Professional websites usually follow a consistent color palette. Now, let's look at some common mistakes we make. Mistake 1, using too many different colors. Keep your color palette what? Simple. Mistake 2, using very bright colors for long paragraphs. Dark text on a light background is usually what? Easier to read. All right. And mistake 3, forgetting the hash in a hex color. You sometimes forget what the hash in the hex color. Okay. So this is what the correct way of writing it. This is the correct way of writing it. All right. So this particular one, the correct way of writing it. Always remember to bring the hash first. All right. So coming up in part 2, we will continue with RGB colors, RGBA colors, then HSL colors, starting more section of our websites, choosing professional color combination, mini challenge, quick revision, and conclusion. By the end of day 34, your website will have a beautiful and consistent color scheme. Okay. So day 34 part 2 will be posted in the next 2 days. So don't worry as you wait behind. So sorry, as you wait. So I would like you to join my channel as well. So just click on the my profile and you see my channel link there. Sorry, my group link there, and you join for you to interact with other learners as well. Thank you very much.